All right, guys, welcome to Zando Football. Definitely appreciate the support. In this video, we're going to get into a bunch defensive package or a coverage check called cluster. It's a check that I've went over before in a previous Madden, but this year I've noticed that they play it a lot better, and it's something that we can add to our toolbox to apply some pressure to bunch type formations. All right. So here's an excerpt of cluster. So as you can see here, we have our trap flat player on the outside. We have our deep half, trap half up top, and then we have two trap hook players, all right? And when I first looked at this, I was wondering what coverage were they drawing this from. And after looking at it, you can tell that this is a cover two blitz style coverage, all right? And the most interesting thing about this coverage is how the trap hook player who initially lines up on the weak side of the formation is definitely included on the front side. As you can see here, he's cutting over to deal with the high-low of the number 2 and the number 3. Now, where Madden does not have this coded, we are going to get into it, all right? But it does play pretty close to this. So let's take a look at something here. And the way you get into this cluster check is to call cover 2 with a blitz incorporated in it. All right. So any defense where you see a 2 over 4 under coverage where they're playing cover 2, but we have a blitz, whether it be from the nickel or the backer. All right. That is what they would call a trap 2 cover 2. And that's where we're going to have matching principles by the underneath defenders. All right. They're not spot droppers. Okay, and the most interesting thing about this coverage is how, as you can see, the vertical hook, even though he is aligned on the weak side of the formation here, when they are dealing with bunch or trips, he is going to cut over to the strong side of the formation. All right, and the way Madden has it coded, here I'll show you an example where we're going to run 4 verts. This will showcase to you that they are not spot droppers. They are going to match these routes up the field. So here's an example, and notice how we're not spot dropping, we are matching routes up the field. So let's get right into how it's coded in Madden, all right? So our outside player, the trap flat player, okay, in Madden, he is in unison with the vert hook inside, all right? And they are pretty much playing an in and out coverage on the number 1 and the number 2, okay? So if 2 goes inside or vertical, in Madden, the soft squat will then match the number 1, okay? But in an instance to where the number 2 goes to the flat, like an out pattern or directly to the flat, then the soft squat will then trap that and play man-to-man on that receiver, and then the vert hook will then take the number 1 on his pattern, okay? So we get an in and out coverage by the vert hook and the soft squat. Now, where this differs from the actual cluster coverage, okay, in actuality, our weak side trap hook player, he's supposed to play in unison with the other trap hook player. In other words, they play a high-low deal on the number 2 and the number 3. So as you can see here, the trap hook number 2, he takes the vertical of the final number 2 and the number 3, and then the trap hook 3, he takes the lower or the underneath of the final number 2 and the number 3. But in Madden, they don't have it coded that way. What they do is they take this weak trap hook player and they just match him on the number 3. So no matter what the number 3 does, he is going to match that route man to man. All right, so that's where it's not exactly like cluster, okay? But with this coverage, we're able to play a safe coverage over the top while including some pressures underneath. And then we can disguise this with some single high looks. We can do a lot of different things with this type of check to add a pressure package to deal with bunch. So we'll play some clips here. Watch how the soft squat will take the out of the number 2, which will have the vert hook now take that post route by the number 1. You can watch a replay. Notice how we get that in and out concept by the soft squat and the strong vertical hook. All right. With the number 3 running the out, the soft squat will not take them. Again, the game has it coded to where the weak vert hook will just match number 3 from the bunch. And that's what's most interesting about this. The weak hook is climbing over to the bunch side to match number 3 strong. All right, so again, you can play a lot of different games with different cover 2 trap coverages against bunch. Okay, the concept is the same no matter what formation you play it from. So here I decided to check out Edge Blitz 2. And I'm like, you know what? Let me try to develop a good cover 2 package or cluster against bunch so I could have a weapon to kind of get some pressure. I didn't like how we didn't get a free rusher, so I decided to shift the linebacker and see what we get. And what do you know? Free pressure. So I tried it again, and his blitz path is perfect. We're only rushing 5, and due to how we are slanting over up front with the package, we're able to get this guy coming scot-free almost every time, which is a beautiful thing. The only problem with this coverage is the backside of the coverage. I didn't talk about that side, but I like to tinker with the backside. Okay, you do have some matching principles with the soft squat on the weak side, but a lot of times when guys are running bunch, they're running bunch with the receiver on that side, on the weak side, reduced towards the core of the offense. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to man up the safety on the receiver and the corner on the back, or sometimes I'll switch it up and man the corner on the receiver and the safety on the back. All right, and that's where we can run a lot of different games on the backside with this. All right, ideally with this coverage, you really are hoping that they keep the back in to block. That is what you want. All right, because you can get into problems if the back releases out into a route and you keep the stock coverage on the backside. So now I want to try this in game with my play, Edge Blitz 2 from 335 penny 3 high. I got a situation. I'm like, all right, I'm going to make the shift, and I shifted the wrong way with the linebacker, and to my surprise, it didn't matter. So it don't matter if you shift him weak or strong. With that blitz path, you get a lot of pressure with him coming scot-free. Pay attention to how we matched all of this mesh action from the bunch. It looked like we were in some type of man-to-man coverage, but in actuality, we were in the cluster check there. All right. Gun bunch X nasty. So I'm like, you know what? I want to run a pressure package with this. I'm going to throw in my Edge Blitz 2, and watch what I do with the safety. I man him up on the back. I think I did this a couple of times in the game and got pressure. So he started blocking the back. And if he blocks the back when the safety is manned up on him, he will convert into doubling that backside receiver there. So I'll leave it at that, guys. I encourage you to go through your playbooks, look for your cover 2 blitzes, all right, and just know that they are matching on the front side. Your weak side vertical hook is going to match 3 strong. The whole idea of a cover 2 blitz is a way to generate some way of pressure, but staying safe on the back end where we keep an umbrella defender over the top with the deep half. All right. Now on the back side, you got to make some adjustments. I'm going to make another video where I get straight into Edge Blitz 2 and the different ways I use it. I'm going to get into peeling with the back because I've done that a number of different ways in this play against different formations. So I've been having a lot of fun with this particular play from penny 335 3 high. All right, so I will leave it at that. I hope you got something from this video. I believe in the next video, I'm going to go back to my telestrator. It's just easier to push out content that way. The only problem with the program that I use is that the video quality is not up to par as using it in this format. But I think the trade-off in quality is not as bad because I'm able to put out way more content by just using the telestrator. Hope you got something from this video, and I hope you keep coming back for more, man. Peace.